In the remote wilderness of Transylvania, Count Dracula runs Hotel Transylvania, a luxurious retreat for monsters to relax and unwind. The catch is, they can't check out. Ever since his wife was burned at the stake by an angry mob of humans, Dracula has grown to despise humankind. And what's more, he doesn't want his beloved daughter, Mavis, to have anything to do with them. But Mavis longs to explore the world beyond the hotel walls. As a special treat for his daughter's upcoming 118th birthday, Dracula invites all their monster friends, including Frankenstein and his wife Eunice, Wayne the werewolf and his zillion kids, Murray the mummy, Griffin the invisible man, and loads of other ghouls and goblins. However, just as Dracula is nailing the finishing touches on his grand plan to keep Mavis safe, a 21-year-old human backpacker named Jonathan accidentally stumbles into the hotel. In a panic, Dracula hurriedly disguises Jonathan as a monster using a spare hunchback outfit and introduces him as a distant cousin. To everyone's surprise, Jonathan fits right in. He charms all the monsters, including Mavis, with his goofy good looks and easygoing ways. Meanwhile, Dracula tries unsuccessfully to scare Jonathan out of the hotel. On the day of Mavis's birthday, Dracula unleashes a swarm of bats to attack Jonathan, but they end up tickling him instead. Later, while taking a dip in the hotel's enormous hot tub, Mavis and Jonathan share a romantic moment. They gaze at the stars and confess their feelings for each other. Just then, Dracula swoops down from the sky and interrupts their date. He reveals Jonathan's true identity and orders him to leave. Mavis is furious with her father. She lets him know that she is tired of living her life under his thumb and announces she's going to the human world to see what's out there. When Dracula learns that Mavis intends to leave the hotel with Jonathan, he changes his mind about letting her go. Now, he's determined to get rid of both of them. He tricks Jonathan into signing a guest book with a silver pen, which weakens his powers. Then he throws Mavis into his car and takes off for the human world. Meanwhile, Jonathan, who turns out to be a werewolf himself, escapes in Dracula's monster truck. Soon, all the monsters at the hotel realize that Dracula has left early and Mavis isn't with him. Realizing he may have made a terrible mistake, Dracula returns to the hotel, only to find Mavis and Jonathan gone. At the local village, Dracula uses his powers to shrink Jonathan to the size of a mouse. Then he challenges Jonathan to a duel, threatening to turn him into a bat turd if he doesn't leave town. Despite being frightened, Jonathan stands his ground. He manages to make Dracula laugh for the first time in a century. And in doing so, breaks the curse that's been keeping him young. The monsters arrive just in time to see Dracula revert back to his old, shriveled self. They're shocked to learn that Jonathan's human, but they soon realize that Dracula's prejudice against humans is nothing but a harmful stereotype. After hearing Jonathan and Mavis's heartfelt love story, the monsters set aside their differences and help Dracula break the news to Mavis that she can never return to the hotel again. Heartbroken, Mavis decides to follow Jonathan to the human world. As the sun rises, Dracula bravely flies into the daylight to stop Jonathan from leaving. With the help of his monster friends, he makes a dramatic entrance at the airport and apologizes to Mavis for not listening to her and ruining her chances of happiness. Overjoyed, Mavis rushes into her father's arms and forgives him. Dracula gives his blessing for Mavis and Jonathan to be together and watches as they drive off to start their new lives. As the film ends, the monsters throw a lively party in Mavis and Jonathan's honor. Dracula finally lets go of his fear and joins his daughter on the dance floor for one last monster mash.